Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen SE-Talk. Bei mir ist Garth Braun, er ist CEO. You are CEO and President of both companies? Or
Yes.
CEO
Yes.
und President bei Pennant Energy und bei Blackbird Energy. Und Sie wissen ja, Interessenskonflikt, Blackbird Energy, Pennant Energy, ich bin Aktionär. Und von daher muss man natürlich immer aufpassen, was er sagt. Deswegen interessiert es mich natürlich auch besonders, was er uns zu sagen hat. Thank you, Garth, to have you here.
Thank you.
I know 2013, 2012 was not really a good year for the junior sector and also not for Pennant and also Blackbird, but coming maybe to a few reasons of what's happened 2013 by both companies.
Well, let me start with Blackbird Energy. 2013 for Blackbird was a year of consolidating and acquiring land positions, building projects that could be worked on. And what we did was we built basically two very significant projects into the company, being our Mantario Projekt in southeast Saskatchewan, which is a heavy oil project, which in essence is actually a Blackbird and Pennant project. When I put the project together in Blackbird, I then farmed out 30% of it to Pennant Energy. And we drilled our first well in the second half of 2013. It was a successful well. We encountered over 20 meters of pay. The well's on production. We put it on a production test. The initial production is coming in at around 25 barrels a day. And we're now evaluating that project to see how we'll delineate it, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later in this interview. The other thing that Blackbird did is along with putting the projects together, we went out to do a financing. We went out to raise $1.5 million, and we raised over $3 million. And what that told me was that the capital markets liked the projects that we were putting together. And the other project I didn't really touch on was our Greater Carr project, which is a Montney play near Kelt Exploration. KEL is the symbol for them. We watched what they were doing, and we saw the discovery they made in the Montney, so we tried to mirror that with a land package, which we hope to be able to develop out in the future by farming it out and building value. Within Pennant, last year was a real restructuring year. The management was changed. We reduced the operating cost dramatically in the company, and then we went out to look at what we could do with the minimal cash that we had to come into a project that could be potentially high impact to move forward. And what happened was that we identified a project in Blackbird that would fit the size for Pennant. That was the Mantario Projekt, which is correlated very close to Rock Energy. The symbol RE, so if you want to track another company that's done a heavy oil discovery in Saskatchewan, it would be Rock Energy. So Pennant farmed in, took 30% of the project, and was part of 30% of this last well that we've done. Pennant did raise money. It was by way of a debenture, so it's got that burden of having a debenture out there. It's an 18-month term. So both companies brought a new project together and also raised money.
So 2014, I believe or hope that 2014 is a much better year for the resource stocks than the last 2 years. So what is the forecast for you, or what your guidance for 2014? What are the plans?
Well, the plan for Blackbird is that our number one focus as a company is in Saskatchewan is our Mantario Projekt. So we'll be announcing probably in this quarter our plans for drilling another well onto our Mantario Projekt. We're looking at the economics of doing a horizontal well and to assess the payback on that kind of a well based upon the depth of pay that we have, based on the seismic we've evaluated on our lands. We see we have over 1,000 acres where this field looks to be. We'll assess that by multiple well programs, but our next would be this horizontal well that we're looking to proceed with once we have the budgets in place. Pennant will participate in that well with 30%, and that'll be a high impact well for both companies because it'll be horizontal. It'll be a substantially different production ratio to what we did on our vertical well. Blackbird will also be looking to farm out We've announced that we've now accumulated 21 sections of Montney land north of Kelt exploration. We'll be looking to enter into a farm-out agreement to proceed with developing that project. That's a substantial project. We don't think there's much value in our company for that as of yet. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be looking to do something, both Pennant and Blackbird, on Big Stone. This is one of the big assets that then actually brought the two companies together. Is both of us have 25%, and logically the two companies have to work together to figure out what to do, because we're not really getting a lot of value on that asset, and we have to protect our interests going forward.
Absolutely. Coming to the market, and thank you first for the guidance and for the history, but I have this week a speech, a talk with Keith Schaefer. You know Keith Schaefer from oil and gas investment bullet, and he's very bullish on heavy oil. So that's mean exactly that it works perfect. If he is right, perfect is a perfect fit for your company. Or for
I think there's multiple reasons why heavy oil is more interesting. There's something that's happening in regards to rail. Canada has increased its production of oil dramatically, and oil is being shipped a lot more by rail. The recent accidents that have happened and the lighter oil that's being shipped, both from the Bakken in the US and Canada, it's very volatile. When you have a train incident, it's highly flammable. There's a lot of discussion that there may be restrictions in the States of moving Bakken oil. It puts a lot more interest in heavy oil being moved by rail. So there's a lot of interest in getting the oil and move that way. The other side is the economics of some of these heavy oil wells is far more attractive than some of these lighter oil plays that are going on.
That's for sure. Fracking and so on is much more expensive. But one what he really recommends is that the refineries are, most of them can work with heavy oil.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is, and they have not the infrastructure to use light oil in their production, their refineries. So what they're doing, they blend light oil with heavy oil, that they come down to a better grade, and then they use it better in the refineries. So, and that is a real believer that light oil maybe come down, but heavy oil coming up, then you can blend it better, and then it fits also for the refineries. Yeah. But it's an interesting argument. We from Europe, we have no really this impact to see how it's really working, but it's really interesting. So to the end, 2014 will be hopefully a great year for both companies.
I would say so. The Mantario Project, which again I talk about, the wells that we're looking at, and I'll correlate it to what Rock Energy has done. Rock has drilled the horizontal wells, 800-meter horizontal wells, and they're coming in at 150 to up to 200 barrels a day. These are high-impact wells for production for junior. Mm-hmm. This will dramatically change the production ratio, and these wells potentially pay back within under 6 months, let's say. So the ability for a company to drill, get payback, and redeploy that money and put it back into a multiple well program and build their production rapidly is available with our Mantario project. Mm-hmm. You can see it with Rock Energy. They started off with one well. They're now up at probably, I think, 26 or 2,700 barrels. They started with vertical wells, and they've gone horizontal. Blackbird has the same opportunity, and does Pennant, in our Mantario project, which is right in that same line area with our project. We've got significant pay and the ability, potentially we could look at initial results or estimates from our geologists are that we could drill 24 horizontal wells on our land. I'm not going to guarantee what our production may be, but if it's in line with what other companies are doing for an 800-meter horizontal, these are high impact, both Blackbird and Pennant, and potentially put us into a very positive cash flow.
I think this was a great interview. Thank you that you have time. And next time, hopefully, we can talk about a few success stories, what you can present to.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. So, how was that?
We have around 10 minutes, but this is good for two